I've included both your warm-up and your cool-down. All you need is a set of dumbbells, but you could also do this with resistance bands or even work against your own strength without any equipment at all. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, for our cardio warm-up, we are doing 30 seconds each of these upper body moves. This is nice and light. We're just getting warmed up here, so move at your own pace. We're going to start off just moving the arms back and forth, swinging in front of the body. Make sure you have a different arm on top, even every time it goes in front of your body, just to switch up the exercise and keep it balanced. So Loki joined me today. He was napping. He's usually napping behind the camera, but he was kind of seeming restless today, so we'll see how long he lasts here. He might just nap the whole way through. All right, so next up, we're going to be doing a ventral raise plus an extension plus a step back. So we'll be starting nice and strong, arms all the way up. Once we're here, do an extension. So you're bending at the elbows right by your ears and then coming straight back up. So just keep that up at your own pace. You'll notice all of these movements kind of mimic what we're going to be doing with weights. So we're just warming up for this exact range of motion here. All right, next up we're going to be doing side leans with arm sweeps. So right here, nice and strong, enjoy that all the way up. When you get here, rock to one side and then the other. All right, take those hands back down, do it again. Right. Next up, we're going to be doing a curl plus a high knee march. So right here, just coming up. If you need to, you can just come up on your tiptoe if you're working on balance right now. Otherwise, try to bring that knee up so that it's at a right angle with your hip. Make sure you're breathing. Even in the warm-up is a good time to start to get down that rhythm of inhale and exhale. Next up, we're going to be doing a good morning plus a fly. So feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to come down, pull those arms back, slow and controlled, and then bring yourself back up. Back nice and flat. Make sure you're not using any swinging motions. Five seconds left. All right, next up, we're going to be doing a walk down. So walking your hands out one little bit at a time until you're in a tall plank, and then come right back up. And feel free to pick up the pace as you get more comfortable here. All right, next up, we're going to be doing arm circles. I'm going to split the interval half and half. So for that first half, we're going forward, just little circles right straight out from that shoulder joint. You can keep your feet moving if you want to get in just a little more movement. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Right here, go ahead and reverse directions. Whatever direction you were going, go the opposite direction now. All right, next up, we're going to be doing a variation on a wood chopper. So we're going to do a single arm wood chopper. So we're going to be leaving this hand here and opening up with the opposite one. So you should feel a nice stretch through the front of your body here, even a little through your chest as you bring those arms apart. And do enjoy it, like slow it down if you want to, if you want to make it into more of a, get a little more stretch, a little more active stretch before you start, that's fine. Or you can step up the cardio and do it faster. We're going to do that on the opposite side, coming down to this knee this time, and opening up across the body. right, next up we're going to be doing a passing overhead press. So what we're going to do here is one is going to be going up while the other one is going down. So just go nice and smooth. Try to keep a nice strong stance. Make sure your posture is good. Keep your core pulled in nice and tight. All right, next up we're going to be doing a chest stretch plus an upper back stretch. So leaning forward, really exaggerate that so you feel a stretch in your upper back. And then open up and step back for a stretch in the opposite muscles, those chest muscles. And again, as you go, you can kind of pick up the pace. If you want to get those muscles ready for the work ahead. All right, next up we're doing jumping jacks. So your regular option is here. Your low impact option is right here. So make it work for you. Do what you can. And remember that you can always mix the two. Try to land soft. 10 seconds left. Alright, so that's our warm-up. Go ahead and grab your dumbbells and we'll jump in. Okay, so we are doing 45 seconds active with 15 seconds rest. Remember, none of these are repeat exercises. We're doing different exercise for each interval. We're starting off with a fly. We're alternating one up, then the other side, and then both together. Start leading with that opposite arm this time. Remember, inhale during the easier part and exhale at the point of exertion. So you're going to feel there's some core work in this as you stabilize to keep from opening up to the floor. You want to keep pointed down at the floor through the entire interval. Make sure your back is nice and flat. No swinging those weights. All right, so there's one down already. Next up, we are going to be doing a chest fly. So, grabbing my weights. And these intervals are quick, so don't feel bad if you are running a little behind. I'm going to push up into a bridge, and here we go. So, opening those arms up, hovering, and then pressing back up together right over that breastbone. And Loki actually stole my mat, I'm realizing now. That's okay. His company's worth it. Everything's better with a puppy. Inhale on the way down. Exhale as you come back up. Remember, try not to really rush any of the parts of the range of motion. You want the same speed all the way through so that you're not skipping over any weak points. Sometimes your body will try to speed up to use momentum to get through those weaker points. Alright, so, hi buddy. Next up, we have a bent over tricep extension. So, grabbing those weights and keep, again, nice flat back, kind of squeeze those glutes. So, coming up, you're going to lock your elbows at your sides here, and then just extending out. Nice and strong, slowly lower back down, right back into that extension. So, slowing it down, aside from proper form and increasing weight, slowing it down can definitely make it harder. Another thing that you can do is really stick the landing. So right there at the hardest part, just hold it for just a second before you slowly lower back down. Ten seconds left. All right, next up we have a dumbbell curl. This time the twist is that we are going to be doing passing repetitions, just like we did in the warm-up with that overhead press. So they're going to be an exact opposite one another. So as one is coming up, the other one's going down. This makes it a little bit harder on your breathing pattern because there's no point where you aren't working through that range of motion. So pace yourself. Make sure those elbows are locked in at your sides. You're not swinging to make this range of motion happen or throwing your back out to lift the weight up. Slow and controlled. All right, next up we are going to be doing an overhead press. This time we're going to be doing that single, double again. So take a nice deep breath. And here we go, getting those weights up there. Doing one while holding that other one in a kind of static active pose, then the other, and now both. Try to remember which one started the first time and lead with a different side each time. Again, make sure you're not compensating in your posture to make this happen. If you find yourself throwing your spine around forward or backward to lift the weight, you might need to lower the amount of weight you're lifting. All right, next up, we have a stagger stance row. So we're going to be doing on each side of the body here, one at a time. So I'm going to start here, one arm hanging down. Mind your back here. Make sure it's nice and flat. And you're just pulling up and dropping back down. Nice and slow. Again, watch that range of motion for places that you want to hurry through. That might be a point of weakness. .15 seconds left. Keep going. Keep going if you can. Also, side note, remember, it is always okay to stop and take a break. It is always okay to lower the amount of weight you're lifting or drop the weight entirely. Remember, you're working out for your body and the health of your body, not your ego. So honor your body's needs by doing what you can, but also making adjustments when you've hit a point that looks like you need that modification. All right, starting on that opposite side, same stance here, back nice and flat, pulling up nice and slow and controlled. If you have a mirror, it is very helpful to get that feedback on your form, making sure your back is flat, your neck is in a nice alignment, that you're not scrunching up anywhere, that you've got a nice strong stance. Are you snoring, buddy? Yeah, he's starting to snore. 5 seconds left. And then we can all go nap like Loki. I wish, but not really. Okay, next up, we're going to be doing a chest press. So, grab the weights you need for this. And again, we're going to be doing that one, and both. So get into that stance. Use a bench if you've got it. Otherwise, that bridge option works. So this time, we're just bending at the elbows, coming down, and then together. Make sure to keep a slight bend on those elbows, even while that weight is resting on the top for its turn to do a repetition. If you keep a bend in your elbow, that arm will be working those muscles the whole time. Get a quick water break after this, so keep going if you can. All right, so that is our water break. So make sure you don't drink too much water until we're done here. Grab a quick sip, and we will get started with the second half. Okay, we're going to jump right back into the second half of this routine. We are starting off with dumbbell curls plus a Captain Morgan. So this time we are working the same range of motion, but we are adding in a balance challenge, which is going to require our entire core to fire up to stabilize us. So we're going to split the interval, if I can not fall over. This just goes to show you. Do the best you can. While you're here, again, I'm going to tell you not to hold your breath, but it's because when you're trying to balance, it's one of those things. I don't know if it's the suspense if you're going to fall over or just the muscle tension, but it can be easy to hold your breath. So right here, we're going to switch sides. So we're coming up with that other leg. Pay attention if you feel any weaker or more wobbly on one side than the other. Right. So lower that. Next up, we're going to be hitting those triceps. So we're going to hit in a different way this time. We're going around our head with that dumbbell, all the way around in a circle, where we're going to extend when we're back behind our head. So starting here, keep a nice strong stance. You can even hold a squat if you'd like. Once we're back behind the head, come up, slow and controlled, and then finish that circle. When you're in front of your body, go ahead and switch that rotation so you're going the opposite direction. There's 10 seconds left. All right, so next up we're going to do wood choppers. So the real thing this time, we're going to spend an interval on each side. I really love wood choppers. They make me feel strong. I'd be curious what your favorite of all these exercises, what your favorite is of bunch. So just slight bend in the knee towards this side with that dumbbell, press over and up while you rotate to the opposite side. So you're controlling, even though it looks like swinging motion, you're in control the whole time. And if you have to, that means lowering the weight, that's fine, but you want to make sure that you could stop, theoretically, at any point during this range of motion. Inhale as you come down to the side. Exhale as you press back up. There's 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we get just a couple free seconds here. Shake it out if you need to. We're going to be doing that same thing on the opposite side of the body. All right, get it set up. Nice deep breath. Here we go. Down into the outside of that knee, and then up and over the body on the other side. Keep going. Under 20 seconds left. There's 10. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so next up we're going to be doing a bent over full back. So I'll add the weights that I'm using for each of these exercises if you're looking for a reference point, but of course that's a personal thing. But we're starting right here. Again, back nice and flat, keeping those arms straight, slow and controlled, back and behind the body. This is another one really you can feel if you go nice and slow. And then again, earlier, like I said, kind of stick the landing, where you kind of just enjoy that muscle burn at the top of the range of motion. No swinging, no momentum here. This is the easy one to swing. Inhale as you lower. Exhale as you bring those weights back up. Keep going, just a couple more here. All right, next up we're gonna be down on the ground or bench doing a close row. So again, slight modification on that similar exercise that we've done a couple times already. So this time our stance is going to be nice and narrow, and we're just dropping those elbows down by our sides and then straight back up. Again, remember that if you keep a bend in your elbow at the top of the range of motion, you can keep those muscles engaged the whole time so they don't get arrested at the top. Feel free to push up into a bridge if you want just a little bit more elevation there, and to get in some glute work. All right. Ooh, I'm sweaty. Sweaty for a strength workout, or an upper body strength workout particularly. All right, next up we're going to be doing skull crushers. So same position here. You're having those hands start in the same place as well, bending at the elbows so those weights come down right about by your ears. Try to keep your form clean, slow and controlled. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Ooh, this one's burning. All right, next up we have bird dog sweeps. So, that's you. We're going to be holding up just like we would for a regular bird dog, but you're going to stick that leg out there, and we're going to do some upper body movements that should help postural muscles. So as that leg is up there, you're taking it and sweeping all the way down, back behind you, and then up in front again. So you let it back down, and then repeat on the opposite side. Booch. All right, next up we're going to be doing a back bow plus a rotation. So especially to target the upper back muscles here, really focus on keeping those arms drawn back, drawing in your scapula, flattening them on your back. And we're going to be doing a back bow up, and then rotating just ever so slightly, whatever your range of motion will allow, and then lowering back down. Come up, and just kind of turn back and look at yourself. Again, slow and controlled, no jerking, nice and smooth. Keep in mind you can hover here or rest, depending on what kind of challenge you're looking for. About 10 seconds left. All right, so we're back to those weights. Next up, we're going to be doing a cross curl. So in front of the body, cross in front of. Like I said, don't worry about the timer. These muscle groups, though the exercises are different, we're hitting them multiple times, just using different exercises. So as you can see, I'm returning to the regular start position of a dumbbell, or a curl rather, but otherwise coming up and across to that opposite, just below the shoulder there. Keep going. right, next up, we are going to be doing a drop down plus a step. So just one weight in your hand this time. We're starting overhead and slowly lowering down in front of our bodies. All right, this is another one. Watch the stance of your whole body. Make sure everything's nice and tight, nice and clean, nice and strong. Lowering that weight just about to eye level and coming back up with those feet together when the weight is over top of your head. Watch your posture. Make sure you're not arching your back here. All right, so next up we're going to take our dumbbell and pass it around our body. So this is going to be cumbersome and a little awkward, and that's part of the point, so don't feel bad. Otherwise, we're just focusing on passing off that weight to the other hand behind the body. So if you had a kettlebell, you can do this very quickly. It's really fun. With a dumbbell, you can do it as well. Obviously, it just requires a little more handling, a little less clean pass off. But you're still just working around the body. Hold that dumbbell away from yourself. Keep a nice bend in the elbow. So you're working through that entire motion. Switch directions here. Keep a nice bend in those knees. Just keep your glutes contracted, core pulled in nice and tight. All right, we have just one more interval until we are to our cool down and stretch. So, almost done. So we're doing a combination of lateral and ventral raises right here. All right, so nice deep breath. Going out straight to your sides first. And down, and then in front. Or you can do, I think this is the way I meant to do it. I think I read this wrong. In front, one does a lateral and one does a ventral. So they're coming up at the same time, just moving those weights from the front to the side of the body before you lift up nice and strong. You're going to feel your core working there. Ten seconds left. There's 5. All right, so that's all of our hard work. So all we have now is cool down and stretch. Grab a quick drink of water if you need it, and we'll jump right into that. Now all we have left is a well-deserved cool down and stretch. So we're doing each of these for 25 seconds. Feel free to add or amend to make your body feel exactly the way you want it to. Stretch what you need to. Otherwise, we are starting off with a warrior. So we're going to stand back and put those arms up overhead. Enjoy that stretch through your core, through your hip flexor, and through your chest as you stretch those arms overhead. All right, switching sides. Just kind of lean into that stretch. And remember, you can move once you're in these. Just kind of float around and see what feels good. Change it up so you get a little bit of a calf stretch. You can float back and forth while you're here from side to side. All right, next up, we're going to be doing a side stretch. So right here, coming up and over. Really lean into it here with the upper body so you get a nice stretch down your side as well as down your IT band. You can kind of make sure your body stays opened up while you're in this position. So again, you get that stretch through the front of your body. All right, switching sides. All right, next up we're going to be doing a wall chest stretch. So anything that you can place your hand against flat, just press that palm out there and then rotate away from yourself until you feel a good stretch through your chest and that shoulder joint. And you can change this stretch very easily with very slight modifications. So feel free to move around between the modifications or pick your favorite and really lean into that one. So as long as you're paying attention and just moving in these stretches gently. Okay, go ahead and switch sides. All right, next up we're going to push both hands into the wall. Same thing for an upper body stretch, this time from a different angle, so just step back with one foot, otherwise really lean into that stretch. Switch leading feet there. All right, next up we're going to stretch our triceps, so grabbing up over the head, pulling here. So you're pulling as if you're trying to touch the middle of your back with that arm that's overhead. You can pull on it with the other hand gently if you can reach it. Okay, go ahead and switch sides. Same thing on the opposite side. All right, next up, we're going to be walking down into a downward dog and just enjoying that stretch for a couple seconds. Just take your time getting there, but once you're there, kind of try to get your heels on the ground or even march them, but try to get that head in between those shoulders. Just press down so you get a good stretch through the shoulders. All right, now we're going to walk down the rest of the way into a cat-cow. So, reaching up and away, and then the opposite. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale up, and exhale as you stretch in the opposite direction. All right, next up we're staying here, but we're just going to be walking from side to side in this position. So if you have any cute animals or kids that have joined you today in your workout, I would love if you share with me in the comments. You know I'm a sucker for that. Okay, next up, wrist stretch right here. So you can change the leverage of your body depending on how deep of a stretch you need here, but otherwise just lean back until you feel a nice stretch through the forearms. And take some nice deep breaths while you're here. Your workout is done. You've done a nice thing for yourself. You should feel good about this. Congratulations. All right, next up we're going to come down here, one arm in front, and thread through here so you get a nice stretch through that shoulder. All right, switch sides. Opposite arm extended. Tuck that other one in. Rest your forehead on the ground if you can. All right, last one right here. This time we're putting both hands out and enjoying a child's pose. So again, just rest your head on the floor here. Take a nice deep breath. Try to make your exhale slower than your inhale was. All right, and that is it. So we just got a whole upper body workout done. I would be really interested to see what you guys thought, if you had favorite intervals, or what else you might like to do with a routine like this one. Thank you for working out with me. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Good job, guys. This workout is complete.